Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, September 18th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I'll do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right here will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos where the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol GLMD. And I'll state the obvious, an absolutely crazy move on this one today. So needless to say, got to think quite a few people are going to be watching this one headed into Wednesday. So let's map out some of the key levels here. So the first dynamic to keep an eye on is going to be this downtrending trend line right there. And this is also part of a pattern that has formed on the day with the other part of the pattern right here, that level right at that point. Let me change that to green to represent support. And then maybe just to make the pattern easier to see, let's keep it all one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big upward move right there. And then for you golfers out there, try to make a little bit more visual for you, put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. So while there are no guarantees, is it plausible? Is it valid to think that if the price comes up here and then pushes up through that level, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible scenario. Again, not guaranteed, but more than reasonable. So if you like highly volatile stocks, you like bull pennant patterns, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, ticker symbol BFI. And once again, one of these not quite as volatile as the one we just looked at, but good movement today, and it is a penny stock for those of you that like penny stocks. And what I like most about it is, though, a very well-defined technical level. And I like those just because when things are not complicated, then it's safe to assume that a lot of people are watching the same levels. And when lots of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, as mentioned earlier, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It can produce some very dynamic movement. So I got to think a lot of people have drawn in a trend line very similar to that. So if the price were to come up here and break up through there, as mentioned, guaranteed no, but reasonable to think that a break through that trend line could spur on additional momentum. Absolutely. So keep an eye on that as the key level of resistance. And then in terms of levels of support, if you're looking to play some sort of pullback, very interesting area down here because you have two of these key moving averages. Purple line there being the 50 period moving average, pink line the 200 period moving average, and you can see they're basically right on top of one another. So basically right there at 0.168 will be a key level of support if this does pull back. But in my opinion, at least the most interesting dynamic is all about the question, can the price get back up to that area and then push through it? We'll see what happens. Next one, DTSS, another solid, nice pattern here. So let's just get this in a play. And you've already heard me talk about this pattern once. So in the spirit of wanting to respect your time as much as possible, I'll just go through this one a little bit quicker. But we have our resistance. We have our support right there. And then just to make it easier to see, again, let's keep it one color. So resistance, support, big upwards move there. Golf hole down here, we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. Now, the more, the different thing here is this one's actually towards the bottom part of the pattern. So it's not necessarily a breakout play right now, but will the price come down here and then bounce off the bottom part of the pattern? Because if you think about that, even if it were to bounce and come all the way up there and never break through, from a trading standpoint, that the distance here that it traveled from, the bounce point up to there, that right there, that's still a good amount of, room to be able to pull out a good profit from a trading standpoint. And then, of course, if it breaks out and keeps going, that would just be, that much more kind of icing on the cake. But if you do like to play these patterns, but you like to play more so not necessarily the breakouts, but the bounces within them, then this one certainly fits those criteria. Next, SMSI. And as I speak right now, the price is doing battle with a very key level and a stubborn level that sits right up here at the $1.10 mark. So you can see, well, twice exactly, but even right there, got close enough to just kind of consider that this general area right now, clearly a lot of sellers are hanging up around that area. Why? That a chart's not going to tell you that, but it is suggesting that, yeah, $1.10 for whatever reason, there's sellers up there, and that's going to be the area where if there is going to be any sort of, push through that level and then, get further momentum, $1.10 is certainly public enemy number one from the resistance side of things. In terms of levels of support, the ideal level of support, when you say, Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute strongest moving forward? And that would be if the price can stay up there above the 89 cent mark. So 89 cents, if we were to pull back there, would be a great but a great sign to see. But from the big picture standpoint, just watch that purple line there, 50 period, simple moving average. Keyword definitely being moving, because I understand price is way up here, that line's way down there, but as time goes by, that line's going to move itself higher and higher and get more and more relevant. So from an overarching standpoint, as long as the price does stay above that purple line, the overall trend remains plenty in the bull's favor. But yeah, grab your popcorn and let's see if the price can push up through the $1.10 mark. Next one, NVDA, and this will mean a little bit more to those that have watched the past videos, but if you haven't, just a real quick kind of update. I've been talking quite a bit about that pink line there, the 200 period moving average. You can see back on Monday did a great job of acting as support, and then we fast forward to late day today, and you can see once, twice, and then didn't quite hit it right there. But point being is the price is once again hovering right around that area, and they give credit where credit's due. So far so good. The price is holding strong like you would like to see it behave. But at the flip side of things, when you consider that at one point today the price was all the way up here and now it's drifted all the way back down there, not the greatest sign of strength, but that's only one day. When you look at multiple days here, you can see the overall trend still plenty in the bull's favor. In fact, I'm just going to do this very crudely, but if we could put a resistance line right there, we could put a support line right there, we could, just point out how this thing has made a big old move. And what I've basically just drawn is a multi-day bull flag, bull pennant pattern. So like I said, it's all about perspective. A day trader that bought right there, that wanted to buy and sell within 10 minutes today, yeah, from that angle, things are looking really bad. But if you do care about the bigger picture point of view, even with the disappointing pullback here, you're still getting the price staying above that pink line. And as you saw from the pattern standpoint, you do still have an overall bullish pattern. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering here in a couple of days. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use, or if you're watching at my website, there's an area right there on the webpage you can use to sign up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, INTC, and this one has been going very, very nicely. But from the presentation standpoint, a little tricky. Like NVDA, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there and your plan to buy and sell was within 7 minutes, from that standpoint, the chart looks really bad because there was a pullback here. There's no doubt about that. But if you do care about the bigger picture standpoint, part of that is sure acknowledging, I acknowledge that the price was up here. It did pull back. But because I care about the bigger picture, what was going on before this downwards channel formed? And those people would say, well, the price was there, and then it went all the way up there, which now has given me the ability to draw that bull flag pattern. So it's all about reference point and what your strategy going in was. So yes, depending on where you bought, maybe today is a very, very awful day. But if you care about the bigger picture point of view, you still have the overall uptrend. You have a bull flag that's formed. So it's ultimately up to you in terms of, is this a good or bad looking chart? Well, what was your strategy going in? Next one, TSLA Tesla. And overall, now today was a very eventful day, but bigger picture wise, nothing ultimately happened. What do I mean by that? Well, as I've talked about the past few videos, been talking time and time again about 231.25 being that key level of resistance. And yeah, today the price certainly broke above it, stayed above it for a while, but then you can see right there when the price did ultimately, get a good solid break below it, it just shoved the price essentially right back to where it was on the close for Monday. So big picture wise, nothing has changed. 231.25, still public enemy number one in terms of levels of resistance, so keep an eye on that. I do want to add an additional level of resistance, so now that we have more data, if the price can push through that initial level at 231.25, next key level up there right around 233.85. In terms of levels of support, I want to get a trend line into play here, just so we can monitor this area right there, but you can see this level here has done a very good job of just kind of forecasting where levels of support have been. You can see some support there, a couple of times there, and then that's right where it bounced off from here. If the price were to fall down below that green line, I'm not saying it's going to happen the same day, but I could very realistically see the price then drifting down and at least retesting the pink line down there, that 200 period moving average. But so far so good. The price has been doing a good job of holding above that level, so let's see if it can maintain that trajectory. Next one here, PLUG. Should have probably put this at a different location to watch, just because it's one of these where, again, it all just depends on your point of view. Day traders, scalpers that were buying there and wanting to sell within 7 minutes, yeah, not looking so good. But if you do care about the bigger picture, even with the pullback there and there, then you factor in what was occurring before this pullback. Well, the price made, this nice move right here, we have ourselves another bull flag pattern from the overarching standpoint. In terms of main battlegrounds of resistance, nothing fancy here in terms of logic. Just asking the question, well, where did the party finally stop today? And that was right up here at that level of $2.19. So again, no fancy reasoning, just where did the party stop? $2.19, therefore that's going to be the main area of resistance. And then as far as supports are concerned, I would just watch that purple line right there, 50 period moving average. You can see back here, good classic example of it behaving as you would want to see it behave within a healthy uptrend. So if the price does come down here and you think it's a healthy uptrend, then I can see a lot of sense into potentially being interested in that pullback. But all in all, the uptrend continues and a nice bull flag pattern today. Next one, PLTR, and now we have a couple of very well-defined levels, mainly from the support standpoint. But in terms of areas of resistance, if you've watched past videos, then you know that I've been talking about that level right there at 36.93. And you can see this morning, yeah, the price was slightly above it, but that didn't last very long at all. And then actually a very nasty 30 minutes as the price flushed all the way down here. Now, to give credit, it did try to bounce back up, but even that rolled back over. But the rollback over there is what really reveals, in my opinion, the very important level of support moving forward, because you can see on that secondary rollback over, right where it bounced at 35, we'll call it 90, has quite the track record already. So from right there, it bounced. It did bounce again. Then you look back here and you can see quite a bit of support. And then for the final kind of data point, look at where the purple line happens to be. The purple line, again, the 50 period moving average, has moved itself all the way up to basically being that same value. So I'm not saying this is what's going to occur, but if the price were to come down here and then break down through this 35.90 mark, that, again, chart's not destroyed or anything like that, but that would be a leading indicator that I would definitely take note of and say, uh-oh, okay, are the bears starting to maintain and gain that much more control here? Because it would require quite a bit of bearish strength to push down through that level. But all in all, to offer more context, the uptrend is still intact, higher highs and higher lows. That's the name of the game. But yeah, definitely keep an eye on that 35.90 mark. Next one here, TQQQ, and overall the chart, it's doing fine. It's not really doing a whole lot from the bigger picture standpoint. Now I realize that if you look at today, in a microcosm, yeah, it gapped up, came all the way up here, then dropped all the way down here, and then is leveled out, and then it's starting to work its way back upwards. But big picture wise, again, not a whole lot going on. Still kind of stuck and essentially just consolidating now back and forth within this range, which is what I want to more so narrow down here. So the top part of this range seems to be definitely right around that $68 mark, give or take, a nickel or so to each side. So that's the top part of the range. You can see right there, presented problems, and then this morning presented problems. And then the bottom part of this range right now being down here, and maybe you already notice it, but that right at that level, about $65.10, give or take a little bit. But that's been an area where the price found some buyers past couple periods right there, and never quite hit it today. But nonetheless, and maybe your sideways channel would be a little different than mine, and I totally would understand and respect that. But I think we would still both be on the same page in the sense of, yeah, past few days, the price has definitely just been starting to go sideways, chopping back and forth, which does lead to the question, who's ultimately going to win the battle? Are the bears going to win with a break to the downside? Are the bulls going to win with a break to the upside? That remains to be seen. So grab your popcorn, grab your Sour Patch Kids, and we'll see what happens. I will get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but for you stock traders, again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about the tool and how it can and should be used, then definitely go get signed up for the free live webinar. It'll be pretty soon, Thursday, September 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope to see you there. And it is a genuine live event, and I emphasize that because there is a question and answer session. So if you have questions, please bring them. I'd be happy to answer them for you. All right, now let's talk some Bitcoin. One quick clarification here. I'm now on the 4-hour time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 4 hours worth of time. And I like to do that just because Bitcoin is open 24/7 in order for this video to remain relevant for as long as possible, and especially this analysis, that allows me to kind of accomplish that. So pretty crazy past 8 hours. I drew this trend line in place yesterday, and you can see that 4-hour session there. Huge breakup through there, but then this past 4-hour session, which just ended, basically right back to that breakout point. So moving forward, and if you're watching this video 15, 20 hours from now, you're in a much better spot because you're going to have a whole lot, better idea of, well, what actually is going to occur right here. Is the price still going to just drift back downwards inside of the breakup point, or is the price going to find some support and then get a move back to the upside? Which one's good, which one's bad? I would assume you would, well, that's a matter of perspective. If you're bullish, then yeah, of course, you want to see it find some support and then work its way upwards. If you're bearish, then yeah, you want this pullback to continue. But that's really as simple as that, because just kind of relatively good timing by the time I came here to do the video for this one, which is same time every day. So about 24 hours passes between each update. But at this period right now, the breakouts occurred, it's pulled back. So yeah, is this just a healthy back test where the price heads back up, or is this the start of a bigger move to the downside? You're going to have a much better idea of that. But that's really the main question, the only question that matters at that point is what's going to exactly happen relative to that breakout point. And as I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader to definitely go get signed up for this free class, because what you're learning about can and certainly should be used within the world of Bitcoin and crypto. So go get signed up. It'll be Thursday, September 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I hope to see you there. So thanks for watching. As always, if you enjoy these, hit the like button. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're not yet a subscriber, so you know when new content is released. So thank you for your time, and go get signed up for that free class.